Chapter 8. Enwin and another pirate come down to the brig not long after Ryden leaves. I'm sure the replacement is necessary because Kieran is still passed out somewhere. "This is Belor," Enwin says. "He's come to help me watch you. He's a fine pirate, he is. He understands the importance of maintaining a healthy amount of superstition." "No doubt," I say, though Belor seems to be more interested in watching the sack of coins that hang from Enwin's belt. The night is young. Most of the pirates will still be in town sleeping off their drinks. Tonight is perfect for some sneaking about. I need to find that map. I'm ready to be rid of this ship and its cocky first mate. I still can't believe he managed to slice me. More than anything, it was a cut to my pride.
"The only amount of luck to be found is in cold, hard gold," Belor says. "You have that, and you can buy all the luck you need."
"Which is why I purchased these here pearls," Enwin says, pulling out his necklace. Enwin relays the story of how he got the pearls. I doubt Belor hears a word of it, as he does not but watch Enwin's purse. Neither pirate pays me any attention. They really are making it easy for me to escape. Not a soul on my own crew would ever be so careless. Not even little Roslyn, who is the youngest of my crew at 6 years old. Of course, I would never have her watch over prisoners. She mostly stays in the rigging, where she climbs better than any monkey ever could. As quietly as I can, I flip over the table and reach for the leg on the bottom left corner. I hollowed it out with my dagger and shoved the lockpicks in there after knocking out Azek and Jolik. It's a shame for Ryden that he never thought to check here.
"You know, I might have something you'd like here, Enwin."
Belor pulls out of his pocket what looks like a leather string.
"Man who gave me this told me it came from a siren's wrist. It's supposed to give the wearer protection on the sea."
Enwin looks at it with reverence, but I'm pretty sure Belor just pulled it off of his boot when no one was watching.
"I'll give it to you for 3 gold pieces,
Belor says. I've already got the door open. I stand before the 2 pirates. "It's a terrible trade, Enwin. The man's lying. He just wants your gold." "But what if he's not? How can I pass up such a trade?" "No more harm at sea, Miss Alosa." "Then why in the world would he trade it for only 3 coins? "You're right. I should give him 5 for it." Belor finally looks up from the sack of gold, the prospect of more money shining in his eyes.
"Oi, what are you doing out of your cell?"
"Making sure you don't take advantage of poor Enwin here. Although, now that I think of it, Enwin is probably intending to steal the gold back bit by bit over the next several days." "Appreciate the help, Miss Alosa, but you best be getting back in your cell," he says as he reaches for his sword. "Can't do that. Sorry about this, Enwin. I rather like you." I knock them both out a moment later. Enwin's gonna want to drink as much as Kieran to relieve that headache he'll have when he wakes. I honestly feel bad, but I don't have the time to wait for them to fall asleep. That could be a while, and I need to take advantage of a nearly empty ship. Once I'm up top, I observe everything carefully. The 2 pirates who were guarding the deck have gone, and Theris is nowhere to be seen. They were probably permitted to go ashore now that Ryden is on board. Shame that. Best to avoid him. Probably in his quarters now. I pass by them silently and walk over to the railing, where I ended my search the previous night. I run my hands over it, thumping with my feet as lightly as possible on the wooden planks below, checking for dead spots.
"Hello, Alosa."
I sigh and look heavenward before turning around. "Hello, Ryden."
"Been waiting for you to come up. You don't disappoint."
Ryden steps out of the shadows cast by the stairs leading up to the 2nd level. Ah, no wonder I didn't see him. "You knew I would try to escape again?"
"There are only 3 pirates left on this vessel, assuming you left Enwin and Belor alive. We're close to land, and I couldn't find whatever it was you used to escape your cell last time. So yes, I assumed you would try to escape again."
"So you're no longer convinced I'm up to more nefarious deeds?"
"I would have continued to have my doubts had you not gone straight for the edge of the ship."
"Thank the stars I went there first. Who knows what would have happened if Ryden had seen me searching the ship?" "Now, Ryden, there's no reason why you can't let me go. You can tell your dear captain I got away due to your own stupidity. Shouldn't be too hard for him to believe."
"I'm afraid not, Alosa."
"Please don't put me back in that cell. I hate it down there. The smell is awful."
"Perhaps we should find you different accommodations, then."
"I don't like the sound of this." "How do you mean?"
"Here, allow me to escort you, princess."
He picks me up and throws me over his shoulder. "What do you think you're doing? Put me down right now." I push myself up and get a hold of his head. His hair is tied back as usual, nice and long. Perfect for pulling. "Ow!" He gets a door open. I'm too focused on him to realize where we are, but a moment later he throws me onto a bed. Then he grabs my wrist in a death grip, forcing me to release my hold on his hair. I don't know why, but it's very difficult to play the beaten prisoner. I can't stand giving up too easily, no matter how many times I remind myself to make my stay on the ship look unintentional. Which is why I don't lie passively on the bed. Ryden stands over me, his hand still holding my wrist captive. My knee connects with his stomach, which causes him to hunch down further. I grab his other wrist with my own and pull him over the top of me before shoving him down onto the bed. I roll off and stand so I have the higher ground. But he shoots up a moment later. I don't expect him to recover so quickly, so he's able to grab my wrist and pin me to the bed, the last position I would ever want to be in. "You're stronger than you should be," he says. What is that supposed to mean? Just that you're not a large woman, yet you were able to lift me off the ground. And those words are the only reason why I don't shove his sorry arse off me. I have to remember to hold back, but it's so dang hard. When this is over, I'm going to kill him out of spite. I have my father's rigorous heavy lifting training to thank for that. No doubt. Get off me. He looks down at me, trailing his gaze from my eyes to my mouth, so very slowly. Are you sure you want that? I'm quite sure, I say, but the words don't come out as forcefully as I intend them to. He leans down farther, placing his nose next to mine. How about now? He whispers. He's too cocky for his own good, but I admit he's pretty, and he makes my blood boil, but mostly out of anger. He's a decent sort of fellow inside, but he chooses not to be on the outside. What does that make him? I'm about to tell him to shove off, but then I feel his lips at my cheek. He's not kissing me exactly, just touching my cheek with his lips. They drift downward to my jawline. I have to make a serious effort to keep my breathing calm, even, not at all excited. Now is not the time to get all tingly. I have a job to do. But his lips, I can picture them perfectly when I close my eyes. They're dark pink, full and unmarred, and right now they're being impossibly soft for a pirate. When he does finally kiss me, it's right below my ear in that sensitive spot. Then he moves lower, trailing his lips down my neck at the side, then back up in the middle. He kisses the corner of my chin and then hovers expectantly over my mouth. He wants me to kiss him, for me to be the one to actually lean forward and do something. Of course he does. Men like Ryden live off the thrill of victory. Unfortunately for him, I do too. He's loosened his hold, so it's effortless for me to flip him over and hover above him. His hands grip my upper arms tightly. He's worried I mean to strike him or choke him in some way. I probably should. Instead, I move my lips to his ear. My teeth graze his earlobe, and his hands tighten in a different way. They move to my back, pressing there and trying to get me closer. When I move to his neck, his hands reach for my hair, gliding through the strands. You're so beautiful, he says, like a goddess born out of the sea. That is what finally snaps me out of it, his obvious exaggerated exclamation. He wants answers from me. He'll say and do anything to get them. I'm just some pretty face to him, and that is all he is to me. I don't have time for meaningless fun. I have a part to play. This will only make my job more difficult. Besides, how can I forget how I found Ryden when I peered through the window of the tavern? He told me himself that he spent months at sea, and I interrupted his one night on land. Now he expects me to make up for it. Stupid pirate. I do not get swayed by men looking to add to their list of female conquests. I'd imagine I'd be a fine one, being the daughter of the most notorious pirate of all time. I stand and move away from the bed. I want to go to my cell now. Ryden looks confused for a moment. He shakes himself out of it. You're not staying in your cell anymore. Your continued attempts to escape leave me no choice but to move you. To where? My room. And with that, he leaves, shutting the doors behind him. I hear the wiggling of a key and the click of a lock. I note that he's still on the other side of the doors. I can see his silhouette from the space underneath. I press my cheek against the door, hold my breath, and wait. He sighs. What are you doing? He's talking to himself. Then he's gone. Interesting. I turn to survey the room. I hadn't had a chance to earlier because, well, my mind was on other things. But now I wish I could have gotten a look at it sooner. If for no other reason, then I could have been using it to mock Ryden. Because the room is clean. Spotlessly clean. Now, as I look at the bed, I can tell it has been made. His desk is neatly arranged with an even stack of parchment. Quills lie next to it, spread apart at even intervals. He has a case of books, and, yes, they're in alphabetical order. The rugs on the floor are free of dust and dirt, likely beaten regularly. His boots are all polished and stacked by twos. His clothes lie flat so as not to gain any wrinkles. It would be difficult indeed to toss this room without Ryden noticing, but toss it I must. It's clear Draxton trusts Ryden more than he does anyone else, so why not give the map to Ryden for safekeeping? If the map wasn't in Draxton's room, then Ryden's room would be the next choice. Since I know how light of a sleeper Ryden is, it's been difficult to find an opportunity to search his room at night, but now I can make the most of being stuck in here. Short of breaking down the door, I don't have a way to get out of here. I put my lockpicks back in the table leg after incapacitating Enwin and Beller. I get to work opening drawers and checking pockets. It's difficult to tell what I've already searched through because I have to put everything neatly back in its place as soon as I'm done. I try to start at one point in the room and move in a circle. More than an hour must pass, and I've found nothing. Where did you hide it, Jesker? Who did you give it to if neither of your sons has it? It simply must be somewhere else on the ship. Why would I have thought that Ryden had it at all? He certainly portrayed himself as the least favorite of Lord Jesker's son. Not sure I can say which is my least favorite of Jesker's sons at the moment. Ryden's a bloody half-wit, locking me in here, trying to toy with me, using me to kill a pirate he couldn't kill himself. Sometimes I think him a coward, but not a coward by fear, a coward by choice. Which is worse. I'd purposely kept my mind focused on the search, but now that it's over, my mind is free to wander. And it shifts straight to what I'd been doing with Ryden an hour ago. Sometimes I'm an idiot. I clench my hand into a fist before giving the table a good slam. I feel the pressure in my hand, then I hear the rumble of the desk and the shattering of glass. Stars! Among maps, compasses, and other navigational tools, Ryden has an hourglass on the table. Had an hourglass on the table. Now it's broken at my feet. I hope that didn't have any sentimental value. Actually, no. I hope it did have sentimental value. Lots and lots. Serves him right. In fact, why stop with this hourglass? Ryden wants to keep me locked up in his room. Well, he'd better be prepared to deal with the consequences. I rearrange his boots so each left foot goes with the wrong right one. I throw his clothing onto the floor in heaps. That's not good enough, though. I can't help but jump up and down on them. I hope there's plenty of grime on the bottom of my boots. I rearrange his bookcase. I crumple his papers. I knock everything over that stands upright. I'm going to be the biggest pain in the arse Ryden has ever dealt with. That'll serve him right. When the door opens a while later, I'm sitting at Ryden's desk, drawing pictures of sea creatures all over his maps, using a quill dipped in ink. What the bloody hell? I got bored, I say, not bothering to look at him. What did you do? Well, I made you something. Look here, I gave the squid your face. There is silence, and then, Alosa, I'm going to kill you. It'll be awfully difficult to collect a ransom from my father if I'm dead. Are you sure that man doesn't want to be rid of you? We haven't heard from him yet. I'm beginning to think we did him a huge favor. His loss was our bloody demise. I set the quill down and look up. I'm out of parchment. Is there any more on the ship? Ryden clenches his fists. I think his eyes might pop out at any moment. His face is as red as a crab. You don't look well, I note. I'll have you know, it takes every ounce of self-control I have not to pummel you right now. I can't imagine what it takes to break you then. Tell me, Ryden, does your skin itch to see your room so filthy? I'm going to bed. In the morning, you're going to wish you hadn't done this. I'd be careful in the bed. I think I saw some glass shards in there earlier. You really should watch what you do in there. Ryden rips off the sheets and shakes out his blankets. Glass does indeed fall to the floor. He takes the time to sweep it all up before dumping it over the side of the ship. At least I assume that's what he does. Can't be sure since I'm confined to the room while he leaves. When he gets back, I ask, where will I be sleeping? For the first time in a while, he grins. I'll be sleeping in my bed. Feel free to join me, but something tells me you'd prefer the floor. 'Tis a shame there's not much room for you now that it's covered with all my things. Ryden locks the door on the inside. Then he pockets the key. He removes his boots and his shirt before climbing into bed. You're seriously going to sleep while I'm in here alone with you? Aren't you afraid I'll kill you? I've already made sure there are no weapons in this room. Besides, I'm a very light sleeper. You won't be able to take one step without waking me. Is that so? I ask cheerily. Ryden's face falls at my tone. He knows it can't be good. This night is already one of the best I've had in a while. First I destroyed Ryden's room and saw him blow up over it. Now I get to drive him mad while he tries to sleep. His eyes droop closed. I wait a few minutes. Then I stomp on the floor. Ryden's eyes shoot open. He sits up, ascertains that I'm not up to anything, then falls back asleep. I repeat this process 3 more times. When Ryden finally gets out of bed, he strides right up to me and gets in my face. Do that again, and I will knock you unconscious. I stop my knocking and instead start humming. It doesn't seem to bother Ryden, though. His eyes stay closed. If anything, he looks like he huddles down further in his bed. My humming turns to singing. I'm not really saying any words, just testing out different notes. It's a random tune that comes to me. In moments, Ryden snores softly. I'd hoped that by keeping him up later, he would sleep more deeply. I take a hesitant step forward. Ryden doesn't budge. At the bed, I put my hands in his pockets, trying to find the key. Still, he doesn't stir. I find it quickly. Then I'm at the doors, stepping outside, closing them behind me. Tonight is the first night I can scour the ship uninterrupted. All the men are ashore, save 3, and I've rendered those unconscious. I abandon my orderly search in favor of tearing through the deck. Normally there are lookouts wandering about, and tonight might be my only chance to get free rein of the deck. I search deep into the night until I hear splashing water and laughing men. Some have returned to finally sleep off their celebrating. Though my eyes strain with the effort it takes to keep them open, I'm disappointed I won't find the map tonight. I'm getting closer, though, and that's enough for now.